are concerned. Let's shift focus swiftly and focus on politics now. And the DA has received backlash following the launch of its election poster. The poster features, among others, the names of the victims of the Life Esidimeni tragedy. Their families are accusing the party of using the deaths for political gain. Meanwhile, the billboard has since been vandalized. ENCA's Samgele Masego is tracking that story for us and joins us now live. So, Samgele, we saw this dramatic video of a man, two men actually climbing up a ladder and basically starting to tear at this billboard. What issue are they taking with this billboard?
Yes, indeed, Thulasizwe. There were two gentlemen who climbed up a ladder towards the DA billboard, which basically says the ANC is killing us, in reference to the Marikana massacre and in reference to Life Esidimeni. I'm just going to ask my colleague Leapo just to show you from the bottom, going down, how these two gentlemen, whom they came in two cars. In fact, it was four of them. Two of them climbed up and went up to destroy this particular billboard of the Democratic Alliance. The keyword alleging, Thulasizwe, alleging that they are family members of one of the individuals who died or deceased during the Life Esidimeni tragedy, when the provincial government and the Department of Health here in Gauteng was moving psychiatric patients from Life Esidimeni to unregistered NGOs, where a number of psychiatric patients ended up losing their lives and dying. So these particular gentlemen who stay in Hillbrow, whom I spoke to, they are saying that they are family members, and this particular billboard by the Democratic Alliance is invoking painful memories to them, and they want it gone. It's not yet clear whether this destroying of the Democratic Alliance billboard is politically motivated, as I understand that the ANC has been very vocal, saying that they are against this particular billboard of the Democratic Alliance. Even Zizi Kodwa, the acting spokesperson, and Takota Likhweti, acting spokesperson of the ANC, issued out a statement yesterday against this billboard. The Democratic Alliance, through the executive mayor of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba, tweeting that it's ANC members who destroyed this particular billboard of the DA. But when we spoke to security personnel who are protecting this particular billboard of the DA, they did say that four individuals did come here, and one of them was wearing slippers or slops with ANC branded regalia. So it's not yet confirmed, but that's what we're hearing from the ground here. We can't confirm nor say whether it's ANC people who had destroyed this particular billboard, but there are allegations that it is ANC people who destroyed them. When we spoke to Piwo, who's one of the particular individuals whom I spoke to and whom sent me the video, they are saying they are family members and they are particularly aggrieved of this DA bill. But I'm now going to throw to Soli Malat, the DA spokesperson, and speak to him on this billboard. Soli, you've received some flack on social media, particularly on Twitter, from various South Africans and from the governing party on this particular billboard. What do you have to say for it, for this particular billboard that you have put up?
Well, this billboard is a reflection of the hard truth of what has happened as a result of ANC actions in government and in some instances inaction. It's a reflection of the tragic loss of life that was avoidable, that shouldn't have happened had the government done its job by preventing the excessive use of force in Marikana, had the government made sure that it fulfills its constitutional mandate to ensure that all schools have access to sanitation services, children wouldn't have fell into pit latrines, had the ANC government in Gauteng made sure that there's proper support to those patients who are suffering from mental health illnesses, we would have avoided the tragedy that happened there in Life Esidimeni.
But are you not using human tragedy for political gain in order to score political points and to score votes for this general election by using human tragedies of people dying in Marikana and people dying through Life Esidimeni, through the psychiatric patients that died through the doings of the Gauteng provincial government and the Department of Health? Are you not using that as a cheap political gain to score political points and votes?
Absolutely not. At any given time, a government must be held accountable for its failures in government the same way it would boast about its successes. We are saying that these events have happened because the government, which is supposed to be caring, neglected its mandate to be caring to its people. Therefore, it is justifiable, it is right in pursuit of justice to all the victims of these events that we hold the government of the day accountable for its actions.
Which brings me to my next point. Did you consult these particular families, from those who were affected by Life Esidimeni and those who were affected by the Marikana tragedy, where minors were gunned down in Marikana?
I'm glad you asked that question, because the publication of the names of all those individuals has been a matter of public record from as early as the events of Marikana happened. I mean, there have been newspaper adverts with the names of those victims across. What this bluebird does is to reproduce information that has been in the public domain for a long time. It hasn't done anything extraordinary to infringe the privacy of the families or the individuals.
So you've not consulted any of these families, yet you put their names up there saying that their names are in the public domain, which is true, fair enough. But out of Ubuntu, don't you think it's human courtesy to make sure that you consult some of these families, if not all of these families, so that you put them out and not use them, or many people have alleged that you may be using them for cheap political gain?
Notwithstanding that, I think the key issue here is the acts of government which has contributed to the use or to the loss of life in all these three major events that have occurred since the birth of our democracy. While it is understandable the expression of that, the reality is that, as I said in the beginning, that this information has been there for as long as Marikana occurred, for as long as Esidimeni occurred. And we have been proactive, for instance, with the Life Esidimeni through our colleagues in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature from day one to hold the government in Gauteng accountable for that.
I want to ask you a more personal question of the Democratic Alliance leadership, yourself as the spokesperson. Do you know how Michael Ngomape's parents are living? Do you know their conditions, where they are, what the conditions are like? Do you know any of the Life Esidimeni patients and how their families are coping and what their living conditions are like? Do you know any of the Marikana victims and how their conditions are like, and how they are feeding and sending their families and children to school, but you can put up their names? Do you know their living conditions? Have you spoken to them in the past 3 to 6 months, any of them?
Different DA leaders who represent the organization that are equally represented. For instance, the leader of the DA in Limpopo, the DA Women's Network in Limpopo, actually even visited Michael Komape's family. They were even there at the funeral. The DA leader has been to Marikana every year for the commemoration of the event in Marikana. Jack Bloom has been an advocate of justice for the families affected by the Life Esidimeni situation. So to isolate Solima as an individual from the various acts that several DA leaders have done would not be fair to the Democratic Alliance, because I do not represent myself, I represent the organization, and my colleagues at different stages have been to Marikana, they have been to Michael Komape's family, they have been at the forefront of uncovering some of the cover-up that still continues to happen with Life Esidimeni.
Well, Thulasizwe, that was Solimalatsi, the DA spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance, speaking on their billboard, which has been vandalized by people whom they allege are ANC members. Yet when I spoke to them, they are saying that they are family members, alleging that they are family members. Since I've spoken to them about 45 minutes ago, Thulasizwe, they have since went to ground. They have switched off their phones and not answered them at all.
All right, thank you so much for that. That is ENCA Samgele Masego tracking that story. That billboard launched just yesterday by the DA as part of their election campaign, and it's been vandalized. And you heard there from the DA spokesperson about how they feel about what has happened.